No man wants to have the kind of conversation that we're talking about. I never did. But the damages of not having this conversation, of disclosing to her what you're involved in and what's going on in your life, uh, is as damaging as any other consequence of the porn addiction and sexually acting out that you've already experienced. So you're going to have the conversation. And if you haven't been found out yet, you will eventually. I believe that God has a special heart for wives that who don't know what's going on, and while their husband is living in such horrible lifestyle of immorality and infidelity and all of the things that's attacking their family. You know, I've had wives who just kind of pulled up to the house and thought to themselves, you know, I need to check his internet use. To wives who were driving along holding their husband's phone for the GPS, and a woman texts him and she discovers the affair that way. One way or the other, you have to have the discussion, man. If nothing else, you have to have it for your own healing, because you have to be honest and true about everything that's going on. But being aware of some key principles of what you need to do and how you need to act and what you need to say are really important, especially at this time. Now, it's going to be now and for a long time an emotional conversation. Anger, hurt, pain, fear, just pure shock and awe is always going to be a part of the conversation at the beginning, but it lingers too. And so this is your time as a man to really stand up, and as a husband to really reach out to your wife in the sense of being strong in character, not being overpowering, not being demanding of anything, but just allowing the patience in your life to give her, to let her be able to kind of walk through some of this is going to be huge. So you have to be a man. So let's talk about 5 things that you have to be and have to do in this conversation. So the number one thing you need to do is talk to me first. Now, I say that because your wife does not need to be your confessional booth or your dumping station. You have to get it off of your chest. And many times what guys do is they wait so long to a point where they just are feeling so guilty and so shameful and so horrible inside that they just blurt it out. And that's not what you need to do. You need to tell me everything first. And you need to unload on me or some other good friend that is strong and able to hold your feet to the fire as you talk about all of this. And you need to be able to kind of just unload, and then us talk about, okay, these are the things that you need to go back and talk to her about. These are the things you need to bring up. And then also, you need to have a plan of what to do from here on. It's one thing to be able to go in and say, hey, I've been struggling with porn forever. But another quite to go in and say, hey, this has been my issue, but I have a plan of rebuilding my life, rebuilding my relationship with you, if you'll let me, and to really find freedom in this area. So you need to talk to me first. The second thing you need to do is you need to plan when to tell her. There's no good time for this kind of a conversation, but there's plenty of bad times. I've had wives tell me that they've been told on the way to their families get together, or the kids have just been put to bed and she's worn out and here all this is dumped on her. There's no good time, but there are some times that are better than others. And so we need to talk about being able to plan a time where you can give her freedom to listen to you, take care of the kids some way, or do whatever, where she has time to ask questions, to be hurt and angry and be able to respond to you, and then be able to process what's going on. That's part of why we talk together, is that we build a plan of how to talk to her. She's going to be hit hard, so she needs the time and the grace to be able to think things through. The third thing is that you accept responsibility, full responsibility. Nobody held a gun to your head to make this the thing you choose to act out on. There's plenty of other things. Now, I don't care how severe and how bad and how horrible the situations are in your life. We'll deal with those and we'll talk about those. And those are the reasons why you chose to find something to act out on. But nobody made you not deal with those issues. Your relationship with your wife is not so bad that she forced you into this. You made the choice. And you have to come to that understanding before you ever really start getting well along the journey. Is you have to realize, hey, this is about me. It's not about anybody else. The fourth thing is you have to have full disclosure, full truth, all of it, all at once. Man, this staggering out bits and pieces of information destroys a wife. And really what we do is we think, well, I don't want to unload everything on her, so I'll keep some of it back. No, you need to tell everything. And again, this is why we talk about it, is we talk through all the things that you, and I ask you the questions, because she's going to ask you the same question every other wife has asked her husband. Is this everything? And most likely you're going to give the same response. Yeah, it is, honey. I did. And then she finds something out, or you have to tell her something new, or some other consequence. She finds a credit card receipt or something, and now it's all again. And she's beginning to wonder whether she can trust you, whether this is really all, how bad did it get, all kinds of things. So to be able to sit down, tell her everything all at once is so important. Now, she doesn't need to know the gory details of everything. And that's why, again, we talk so that you can plan out what you're going to tell her and what you're not. Failure to be honest in this area damages and slows down the entire process of healing. And then number 5, prove out your commitment to change. Again, this has to do with a plan. This has to do with the aspect that you probably have had some kind of conversation along the way before, and you have said you'll get it right, and you said you'll clean up, and you never did. I did that for year after year after year, and you know, finally I had to come to the place where I really had to show that I was making a change, and so do you. And so that does mean that you get counseling. It does mean that you start doing the process of getting clean and working on all the steps that it takes to get to work out. You're going to have hard conversations all the way through this. You know, the wives usually ask my wife, will I ever quit crying about it? Will I ever stop thinking about it? Will I ever quit being afraid about it? And she's able to tell him, you are at a place, you will come to a place where you're able to deal with this. But she then tells me, so much of it depends on you as the husband, you as the offender, you as the one who needs to get your life right with everything. So again, let me go over and talk to me first. Just give me a call. We'll have a free conversation of just really talking out what you've been involved in and develop a plan of where to go from here. Plan when to tell her and how to tell her. Also accept full responsibility. Tell everything, all the truth, all at once. And then lastly, prove out your commitment to change. If you'll do these things, you'll really feel better yourself. And the better you are, the better you become, the better everything else around you will be as well. So let's talk. This is a horrible conversation. If nothing else, let me know you're getting ready to have the conversation so that I can be praying for you. And then let's talk some more about how you can find freedom.